Hello and welcome to Coaching State. This is episode 16 in our series, The Subtle Art of Coaching. Have you ever gone into a coaching session and gotten a quarter of the way, halfway, maybe even all the way to the end, and realized that really you didn't go any place new with the client? You were so busy trying to make the client feel comfortable and understood and welcomed that you never really opened the client up and challenged them. Well, if that's ever happened to you, today's video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about the pace, lead method. It's one of my favorite ways of getting insight, of challenging a client, of going deeper. So, what is the pace, lead method? Well, I've learned it in several different instances, different backgrounds, different instructors, and I've pulled out what I think is the heart of it when it applies to coaching. So the basic idea is that you pace twice before taking the lead. And what does that mean? Well, just imagine for a moment you are walking in the park. You are walking along with somebody who had a slower than your average pace would be. And so you pace them. You walk their speed for a couple of moments. You maybe a transition happens and you again you had to slow down to let somebody by or something like that, and then once again as they start walking their pace, you match their pace. You go at the same tempo, you walk with the same energy, you use the same stride length as them, and then you slowly, after you've got a good level of pacing, you then pick up your speed just a little bit. You go more naturally to your pace, and the other person unconsciously comes along with you. Why is that? Because there's rapport, there's connection. You're going together. You've built a subtle, under the radar relationship. You've built this pace that you're both comfortable with. Now, if you just come out of the gate, that person's walking a little slower than your normal pace, and you just immediately start off at your pace and you insist you don't ever slow down for the other person, they'll often lag behind. They won't quite keep up. So the same thing applies for coaching. So I'm going to break it down into the three steps here: pace, lead. We're going to call it pace one and pace two. Pace one. Pace one is all about establishing rapport. So, in whatever way you open the session, really do it to establish that rapport, that connection, that link. I want to step into my client's session. I want to step into their world. I want to really look for their energy, the type of language that they're using. I want to look for the tone that they are setting. Where are they coming into the session? Did they just come into the session out of a really rough meeting where they got chewed out by the boss? Or did they just come out of a celebration where they were acknowledged and rewarded and their energy is up and powerful? I want to come in and match that, especially when the energy might be low. High energy is great, that's easy to go with. I think the more challenging is when a client comes in a little bit under the weather, a little bit slower, they've had a little bit of a challenging day. And the key tool we use here, which we've talked about in several of our videos, is backtracking. We want to stay away from summarizing and paraphrasing. Summarizing being bringing it all together repeatedly to ensure you're with the client. Paraphrasing is using your words back at the client to ensure you understand. And I'm not a fan of either of those. If you've watched our previous videos, you'll know why. And the reason, in short, is that I want to use my client's words. My client is using the words they're using for a very specific reason. So I want to pull out that key word, that key phrase, that word or part of the sentence that's emphasized, that has a little bit something different on it. They've put a different energy into it. They've used a different tonality. Maybe they've changed the speed at which they're speaking. I want to listen for those transformational words versus the transactional, sorry. We want to use the transformational words versus the transactional words. Those are the words we want to give back. If those terms don't make sense to you, go back, find our video. in the playlist, find the video on coaching the who, not just the what. That video is going to take you deeply into it. So when I hear a client suddenly touch on a value, I want to go to the value. When they touch on the big choices that they're making, I want to draw that out. I want to match that. I want to backtrack that. If they happen to go to an identity or something even bigger, a vision, a spiritual moment, something broader, something about their personal transformation, the who versus the what, I really want to emphasize and backtrack that and draw my client in. Now, what I'm really trying to emphasize here is that I'm here for you. I am here with you without going to the transactional version of that, which is, oh, yeah, I understand. Oh, yeah, something similar happened to me. Yes, yes. Oh, could you explain that so I make sure I know exactly what you're talking about? That's the transactional piece of I'm here with you. What I really want to do is take it to the transformational piece. I am here for you. The conversation content is one thing, but I'm here. Tony is here for you. I'm present. Now, of course, we're going to hit a lot of core competencies here. We're going to hit four, trust and safety. We're going to hit six because we're active listening. And of course, five, we're maintaining our presence. We're doing all of that just to get that really strong connection. I jump in and I start to flow with my client. I don't make any big shifts yet. So, in our modality of coaching, we call this the connect. We're taking a moment to get really connected. We do that before we move into the outcome. The outcome being setting up our agenda for the session, getting our contract for the session, as some schools might call it, getting that session focus in place, that agreement that today's session is going to be used for this purpose. As I'm doing those two pieces, I'm setting up, especially with my pace and my pace. I'm getting lots of good pace. Pace one, I'm here with you with my language, with my energy, with my emotion, with your words. I'm here with you, your tonality. The second pace is where we deepen it. We start to embrace and go with their experiences, with their thinking, with their mindsets. We go even deeper into the entire who the person is and what they're about. I especially am listening to connect in here with their values. I'm going to continue to backtrack deeply. But I'm going to take it a layer deeper. I want to be that same pace with them. I'm going with them. I'm here for them. I'm supporting. I'm in sync. I'm in stride. I'm in the flow with them in whatever depth, tempo, energy, and emotion they're moving forward in. And by the way, we're hitting all the same core competencies there. We got four, five, and six easily met as we do that. Now, as we establish in the origination of our coaching session, of course, we can do this any place in a coaching session, but as we begin the session, as we're opening up, connecting, setting that powerful agenda, setting that outcome for the session, getting the handshake, virtual handshake on today's purpose of our meeting is this, of our getting together is for this purpose. Now I can start to lead. And please hear me on this one because some people might say, "Oh, well, leading, what are you telling the client what to do? Are you instructing them? Are you advising them? Are you consulting with them?" No, that's not what I mean at all. What I'm doing is I'm inviting them. I'm inviting them to go deeper, further, faster, quicker, maybe sometimes even slower if that's the challenge. I'm inviting them to go to a space that they haven't been to. Now, one of the big challenges that comes up if I don't pace, then lead, if I just start to lead straight out of the gate, the client often won't be able to go with me. It's like the walking example. If I just take off walking fast, they're not comfortable with that. So they're going to try to be like, am I jogging? Am I running? What do I got to do? What do I need to do with my breath to catch up to the coach? So what I want to do is I want to make sure that we're in that stride, we're in the flow. Then I want to pick it up that little bit. This is the space for the challenge. This is the space for taking them out. Now, the other thing, and this goes back to the story at the beginning, the story opened with, have you ever had a session where you just never felt like you got out of the doldrums? You never got out of the known. You never got out of what the client has already thought of? Well, that often happens because you drop down in too deep. You get so much into the let me understand you, let me be with you, I'm here for you. You get so deep into that space that you never have that moment where you shift gears on the client and you invite them into something bigger, broader. Now, if you watched our video on somatics, physiology and high performance states, you're going to know that one of the best ways to do this, by the way, that's episode 13, if you'd like to go back and watch that. One of the best ways to do this is to change your physiology, change your state, change the tonality, change the tempo, because all of that is linked directly, somatically to your energy. It's linked to the physiology. When you shift your physiology and you start to lead with a little bit of excitement, with a little bit of power, it allows the client to go further, to go farther. It allows them to tap into more resourceful states. If they're in the session and their energy is here and their physiology is here, and you're never going to get them out of the known. They're going to spin for 45 minutes, half hour, however long your sessions are. They're going to spin on what they've already thought of, what they already know, what they've already tried, what they know doesn't work, the problems that come with it. What we want to do is open that up. We want to shift them. We want to get that, we want to get their physiology. If we're creating a vision, we want to open it up into the space. If we're talking about action, we want to create that in the space. We want to get in that moment and draw them into some energy, some energetic that supports them. So, with every shift you make, with every question you make, you're taking the client there. That's the lead. We're inviting them to go deeper. Now, here we're breaking into two additional competencies: seven, evoking awareness, and eight, the client's growth, managing the client's growth. This is where we have to go. We've got to go someplace different. We want to draw the clients in. Just like a movie draws us in with the music, that draws us in with the tension. So much of it's in the music. Take and go to YouTube after you're done watching this video, and type in a trailer for a horror movie and watch it without sound. It doesn't have nearly the impact. Our voice is the soundtrack that goes with the movie. So use your voice, draw your clients in to going further. Now, again, I'm not leading as in I'm telling them where to go, I'm telling them what to do, telling them how to do it. Notice that's all the transactional. I want to get them, the person, into a space. Think of it like as a flow space. Think of some people might even think of this as a meditative space. It's a safe space. It's a safe co-creative space where the client can think beyond what they've already thought, where they've already taken it, where they've already, they've spun their wheels here for a long time. So what's different that's going to allow them to gain some traction? So we've got pace, pace, lead. Once we've done that process, however long that happens to take, we want to repeat it. We want to repeat it with balance, whatever the new set level is. So the pace might have been down here. My second pace just took it up a tiny bit as they started to get into it. Then I led up. Now I'm going to balance that. I'm going to set this as the new pace standard, and I'm going to pace, pace there. Now, this is not the space because this will take you out. And this actually applies to the first pace as well. This is not the space to commiserate. Oh, yes, I've been there. I understand. Yeah, that happened to me. Oh, I'm sorry. Which, by the way, we want to be really careful. The other way to think of this is we want to sympathize. We want to acknowledge that there's emotion and feeling, and maybe they're in a challenging space, something's happening around them, with them, to them. And we want to sympathize. I get it, but I don't want to empathize. I don't want to drop down into that space because that's going to take it down a notch. And then we're in the doldrums with them. I lose my ability as the coach to remain that neutral, encouraging with my energy party. So I want to be careful. Don't drop in. We don't want to get down in there with them, especially on strong emotions. The strong emotions are going to draw us out of core competency 5, maintaining presence. We've got to be comfortable with that. And as we step it up, what happens is your client is less likely to go down into those spaces. When you've got the energy flowing, they're more likely to be open to the transformational conversation, coaching the who, coaching the opportunity, coaching the broader piece, coaching the vision, the contribution, the legacy, and they're less likely to get stuck down in the tedious. What am I going to do first? What am I going to do next? What am I going to work on? Well, that's when the hard parts start. That's when the hard part starts. So be careful. Don't get empathetic. You are now setting that pace. You want to get the client really solidly there so that then you can lead another time. You can take them to that new space, whatever energetically is needed. It doesn't always have to be up, 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 up. It could be pulling back and getting very thoughtful. It could be taking into account other people. There's a lot of different directions it can go. It just depends on where do you want the client to go energetically, not so much topically, but energetically, so that they can have a great session. Now, the final piece is just to continue to deepen the rapport. You've got this nice pace, pace, lead, pace, pace, lead. And now we just want to deepen the rapport so that it becomes this dance. I don't even necessarily need to pace, pace every time I want to challenge, every time I want to take it deeper. This comes from authentic curiosity. This is a technique, a method that I don't know how to teach. You've just got to be curious. You've really got to be in a space of awe and wonder about the client in front of you. What's it going to take for them to change? What's it going to take for them to transform? What's it going to take for them to step into something? What's it going to take to get 100% commitment? How are they going to maintain? How are they going to sustain? How are they going to build the momentum and to deepen your rapport with just an amazing curiosity of the amazing, wonderful, sparkling, however you want to describe them, person that you have the opportunity to coach. I believe coaching is a huge opportunity to give a gift, and our energy sets the tone for the gift. So always adjust with the client wherever they're going, and then again, keep them going. The pacing is the connection. The core skill is the physiology, followed by the backtrack. Take on the physiology that you think will support the client the most, backtrack their words, coach the who, not the what's, and then lead into those bigger transformative questions. Asking, for example, an identity question: who will you become through this process? That's not the energy of who will you be becoming through this process. That's the energy, that's the tonality of transformation. What are you going to do first? What are you going to do next? How are you going to hold yourself accountable? Who can help you? How did you do it before that worked? How would you do it now with that in mind? That's all the transactional conversation. Pace, pace, lead is really boring down at those levels. So this also brings in one additional core competency here that we haven't talked about, and that is core competency 2. Core competency being the coaching mindset. What is the mindset that you're bringing? I'm encouraging you to bring the transformational mindset. Coaching should be a transformational conversation, which then allows the transactional to take care of itself. When we take care of the client's who and their becoming and their vision and their values and their big choices and commitments, the actions, the capabilities, the when and the where, they tend to take care of that on their own. And this pace lead is a wonderful way to go with them. Pace the transactional, then ask a transformational. Pace the steps, then ask a bigger question. Pace the I want to achieve this and invite the legacy conversation. Each time you'll be going. Go with what's comfortable with them and then stretch them. Go with what they already know into what they don't already know, into what they might explore, where they might draw in, what might be new and unveiling itself to them in the moment. That's where the magic happens. But you can't do that as a robot. You have to get in there and really tap into where is the client now? Be with them fully and completely while maintaining your coaching state, pun intended, then draw them into that transformational conversation. I would love to hear the ways in which you draw your clients into transformational conversations. I'd love for you to drop a comment down below with how you drop clients into transformational conversations, what questions you might have about this method, or what videos you'd like to see in the future. If you like this content, please push the like button, uh, subscribe, share these videos out with those who you think could get value from it. We greatly appreciate your time. We'll look forward to seeing you on future episodes of The Coaching State.